Hi friends! Welcome back to another ukulele tutorial. Today we're looking at my arrangement of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I love this song for many reasons. It has a beautiful melody and a wonderful message. I'm never going to stop the rain by complaining, so I might as well stop worrying about the things that I can't control. It's a great message and a beautiful song. I really enjoyed creating this arrangement, and one of my favorite parts is the very end of the song, where I've included the sound of raindrops using harmonics. We'll cover this in our tutorial. Now I'm going to play through the song for you as a demo so you can hear how it sounds, and then we'll move into our tutorial. If you're enjoying this arrangement, please give this video a thumbs up and thank you so much for subscribing. This arrangement is for low G tuning. In this tutorial, we'll cover how to play the more difficult parts of this melody, and if you'd like to download the full tabs, you can do so from my Patreon page, along with my book of tabs and my songbook covering all of the songs that I've shared in my tutorials. I would love for you to become a patron and join my Patreon community. Or if you'd like to show your support for my channel by buying me a coffee, you can do that as well. You'll find both links down below in the video description. We'll start by taking a look at our first line, measures 1 through 8. Measure 1 is the beginning of our introduction, and we're starting on a C chord. The squiggly arrow next to the chord means that we play it as an arpeggio or a broken chord so that each string rings out. Then we'll play our 4th string, 1st string, and then strings 3, 2, and 1. Measure 2 is played the same way as measure 1. We're just playing it on a different chord. So we're moving from our C chord to our C major 7 chord, which is the 2nd fret of the 1st string. We'll play an arpeggio through all 4 strings, then play string 4, 1, 3, 2, and 1. In measure 3, we're starting with an arpeggio on our D minor chord. Here I have my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and my middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 4. Then we'll pick the 3rd string, and then we're going to do a hammer-on the 2nd string. So we'll lift up our left index finger, opening up the second string. And when we play it, we're going to hammer back down onto the first fret. If you're not yet comfortable with hammer-ons, then you can simply pick each note. Then we finish measure 3 playing the open first string. In measure 4, we're playing an arpeggio on a G7 chord. Here I have my index finger on the first fret of the second string, and my middle and ring fingers on the second fret of strings 3 and 1. Then we're going to lift up all of our left hand fingers and play our open third string twice. And then we'll finish our introduction playing the second fret of the third string. Measure 5 is where our melody begins. We're starting on a C chord, but we're not playing the first string, so we don't have to play our third fret here. We can leave all open strings as we play an arpeggio through the second string. Then we go back to string 4, 3, and 2. Then we're going to play the first fret of the second string, then lift up our index finger to play the open second string, and then we're going to the second fret of the third string, and then we'll lift up our middle finger to play the open third string. In measure 6, we're going to a C major 7 chord. I'm playing the second fret of the first string with my middle finger. Then we're going to our fourth string, third string, down to the first string, back to 4, and finishing measure 6 with our first string. In measure 7, we're going to a C7 chord, which is the first fret of the first string. We also have a melody note, which is the third fret of the second string. So we're going to play the C7 chord with the addition of the melody note. Then we'll play the fourth string, second string, and then we're playing the first string, but we're playing it open. So we'll lift up our index finger, then we'll go back to the second string, then we're placing our index finger down on the first fret of the second string, and then we're lifting it up to play the open second string to finish measure 7. In measure 8, we'll play our open second string, and then we're going to an F chord. To play F, I have my index finger on the first fret of the second string, and my middle finger on the second fret of the fourth string. We're going to play this arpeggio only through the second string. Then we're going to move our middle finger to the second fret of the third string, and then lift it up to play the open third string. Now I'll play measures 1 through 8 at a nice slow tempo. Section that we'll cover is the fingering for measures 18 through 21. In measure 18, we're starting with our middle finger on the second fret of the third string. We'll play an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Then we're going to place our ring finger down on the third fret of the second string, and then we'll lift it up to play the open second string. In measure 19, we're going to place down our index finger on the first fret of the third string, lifting up our middle finger. Here we'll play an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Next, we'll place down our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string to play the string twice. And then we'll lift up our ring finger to play the open 2nd string. And moving into measure 20, we're keeping our index finger in place and placing down our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Then we'll lift up our ring finger to play the open 1st string. And we'll place our ring finger back down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then lift it back up to play the open 2nd string. And then in measure 21, we're placing our middle finger back down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we'll lift it up to play the open 3rd string. We'll play the open 2nd string and finish measure 21 on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Now I'll play measures 18 through 21 at a nice slow tempo. Now let's take a look at how to finish this song, starting with measure 33. Here we're on a C chord, and we'll play an arpeggio only through the 2nd string. Then we'll pick strings 4, 3, 2, 3, and then in measure 34 we're going to an F chord. Then we'll pick the open 3rd string twice. In measure 35, we're going to a G7 chord, but we're going to leave the 1st string open as this is our melody note. So we're going to play an arpeggio through all 4 strings, and here I only have my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Next, we'll place down our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then we'll finish measure 35 by lifting up all fingers in our left hand and playing the open 2nd string. In measure 36, we'll play one more arpeggio on our C chord through the 2nd string. And then we'll finish this measure playing the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Now we're moving into the fun harmonics for measures 37 through 40. We're starting on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Now when you play these harmonics, you're going to have your index finger down right over the fret, and you're going to pick the string with your thumb. As soon as you pick the string, you'll lift up your index finger. So starting with the 7th fret of the 2nd string, then going to the 7th fret of the 3rd string, then we move to the 12th fret of the 3rd string, and then the 12th fret of the 2nd string. We'll play those 4 notes in measures 37, 38, and 39, and then in measure 40, we're ending our raindrops with the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Here's how it looks to play measures 33 through 40 at a slow tempo. Once again, you can download the full tabs from my Patreon page. I hope you enjoy learning my arrangement of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Free yourself from your worries and have fun practicing. Thanks for watching.